Good morning, good morning. Happy Thursday. I'm clicking this button here and it's giving me a fit. There we go. I showed up finally. Jeez. So many buttons to push, like I said yesterday. Okay, I got my shot. Told you that yesterday I was worried about how I was going to feel. I feel pretty doggone good. My arm is sore. This is the second shot. It's the Pfizer one. My arm feels like I've been punched. Yesterday, after I got it, I got really tired. I know my brother got really tired when he got his. His wife got a high fever and very achy, like having the flu. I have none of that, so I laid down yesterday about 2:30, and wouldn't you know it, it ended up being 4 o'clock. I keep getting these calls from Alva, Canada, using a 602 number. And it was a company that said they were some solar company. And she literally said, "Have you heard about solar?" Now, if I'd had more time, I would have said, "Well, no, tell me about that." I like pranking phone people. If you go in my playlist, I have a playlist called Just for Fun. And you can see how I pranked one of those guys that calls you and tells you your social security number has been stolen. And he said they found my pickup truck, my car in Houston, Texas, with $5,000 in it and 20 pounds of coke. I had him going for a good 15 minutes. I said, that's where my coke went. So anyway, in today's real estate market, what I did, I'm going to split the screen here and show you something. I sent you guys, I posted a survey for you on the community page, and 52 of you voted. And I said, will the ending of forbearance plans affect real estate? 29% said inventory will increase. 27% of you said there will be foreclosures, and 31% said there will be no change, and 13% says investors will buy them. And then Sam says, that's what you're supposed to tell us. No, Sam, I just share the numbers. So that's an interesting thing. We're going to wait and see how this shakes out. Now, today there's only 4,272 homes on the market, slightly higher than 2 weeks ago, about tied even with last week. The interesting numbers that I saw this morning, though, was over the $1 million in March, we sold 411 homes. That's double the number of homes that were sold last year at this time. That's a huge, huge number. Now, there is the Cromford Index shares data on how real estate agents are doing. And here's the guys that are really killing it in the over 1 million mark. These are, it says here, rank sides. Like this guy's number 56, but he's already done $81 million with 27 transactions, and it ranks all the real estate agents. So who's number one right now on sides, has the most homes? 119 homes sold so far is Samantha Allen, and this thing changes every time I refresh it. But here's the interesting thing when you look at this. There are supposedly 50 to 60,000 real estate agents here in Arizona. And I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom of this chart if I can do it. And it shows you that this has compiled 16,183 on this list. And Port David here is number 16,183. Has only sold one home so far this year. And that number, when you scroll up, it would surprise you how many realtors have only sold one home. It's a pretty big list. So there are a lot of agents that have their license that maybe only have it so they can do private transactions on their own. And as they says, Carol Royce has all the buyers. I don't think I could look her up on here, and I'm not. So, but it's an interesting thing to look at. Everybody go, oh, you real estate agents must be really busy. It's hard to find things for people out there right now. Now, some of these heavy hitters up there, they have teams. So, they have a lot, maybe 100 people underneath them working for them, with them. And so when they have a transaction, that counts as a sale for them. Now, there are many that don't, but that's just an interesting way to look at things. When we look at the Cromford Demand Index, the thing that stands out in here is I see this sharp decline in demand that's coming up on the index. And yet you don't really feel it because the supply side is so low. See the supply side down there? But when I look at the demand, this is normal here, the 100. So I looked here and, kind of analyzing charts. I'm going, well, have there been any other times when we saw this sharp of a decline? And we did here in 2009. It went way down, but the demand still didn't dip below normal. It dipped below normal before the crash. See that? That's when things started to happen. And at that time, supply was way up here. So the demand had plummeted at a time when we had all of this supply. So right now, look at our supply. It's down here. It's got a rank of 22 versus a rank of 212. So the demand is going to have to go way down below, down to about here in order for us to start seeing supply start coming up. And it has bounced back before, and it will again once supply starts showing up. This is an interesting article here. People are finally starting to think about selling homes instead of just buying them. This is a chart that kind of showed the lines cross here. Good time to buy is in black. Good time to sell is in blue. And the survey shows that people that think it's a good time to sell are finally catching on that indeed it's a good time to sell. It says a percentage of respondents who say it's a good time to buy a home rose to 53% from 48%. Attitudes about selling a home increased even more. 61% said it's a good time, up from 55% in February. While the percentage who say it's a bad time dropped from 35% to 28%. So 28% of the people say it's a bad time to sell. And they have to just be saying it's a bad time to sell because they can't find another house. I mean, if you want to sell a house right now, you can just stand on your front porch and go for sale. So half of the respondents think home prices will move higher in the next 12 months, up from 47% the previous month. And only 14% think they will decline, while 29% expect no change. So that's an interesting number out there. Let's hope that it actually starts to move towards more homes coming on the market. But in Arizona, we don't really have a spring market. And right now in the country, I don't think we have a spring market because the market was so disrupted that you just can't put any seasonality in it anymore. So it's interesting to see how this is going to shake out. But here's one I saw cruising the news. Work from home, second home, demand for vacation homes continues to soar even as offices show signs of life. This is, again, Redfin data. And they're showing here second homes are up 127.7%. Well, this goes to April, almost to April right here. Now, this is going to be an interesting number to watch, folks, with that new rule that says that lenders should not have more than 7% of their portfolio in second homes. Is this number going to change? This one talks a lot about the Palm Springs housing market. It's busy with an influx of vacation home buyers from Los Angeles and San Francisco because they getting away in the winter, coming down to Palm Springs and doing their remote work. So is this going to change? It's going to be an interesting number to watch. I have no idea. But those are the kind of things that shift when Fannie Mae comes in and changes some of the rules. So remains to be seen. It's just another number for us to watch. I'm also seeing national numbers that saying that the number of homes that are going above list price are like 30%, but those are national numbers, and they're giving a rather small number, saying most of them are going about $5,000 above list price. I wish that was the case here. It's not. We crossed the line of over 67% of homes going above their list price. And even though the stats show that it's $15,000 average between $400,000 and $500,000, I'm finding that to be far, far greater and nearly impossible to predict what a good offer price would be. You just don't know. I turned in an offer yesterday for a home in Gilbert, and I'm waiting. And unfortunately, they're saying they're not even going to review the offers until Tuesday at noon, I believe. Now, I was asked a question yesterday, can real estate agents hang on to offers and wait to a certain day to decide to go and accept the offers? And they can. but they usually state it publicly on the MLS. Like this one says, you can come see the house now. We've got an open house Saturday and Sunday. We're not reviewing offers until Tuesday. So it's best for you to go ahead and write your offer with an expiration date of Tuesday. A lot of agents write an offer and they put an expiration date in for the next day, which means, if you don't answer me by tomorrow at 5 o'clock, we're just going to move on. So that number can be wiggled around a little bit, by a phone call. It's not really as binding as the contract makes it think it is, but they could call me at 6 o'clock and say, hey, we accepted your offer. And I can say, well, you're an hour late. We moved on and went somewhere else. Jose says, I live in Gilbert Spectrum, and just in the last week, Zillow upped the neighborhood like $30K in 1 week, estimates. Yeah, and they'll probably go down $5K tomorrow. I'm not a big fan of Zillow estimates, but sometimes it could be an indicator. They're up and down like a yo-yo. But I'd hate to be an appraiser right now. It's really hard to tell where prices are, and Zillow just looks at county records, county data. So when they're looking at an overhaul neighborhood, they're more accurate than they are just looking at your home, because they can't see the inside of your home. They don't know what kind of appliances you have. They don't know the condition of your roof. A lot of things to take into consideration when you're putting a value on the house. But when you look at court records over a defined area, they tend to be a little more accurate. So that may be true. We're already up 9% in the first 11 weeks of this year. So that's, $30,000 on a $350,000 house. So a lot of stuff going on out there. Tomorrow, Pat McMasters is joining me at 3 o'clock, and we are going to kind of dive in and talk about what this CDC ruling on stalling with foreclosures and giving lenders time to work through the paperwork and work through the process and not just foreclose on homes, and see what that effect is. And I want to see what he's hearing on his side, on the lending side. And like I said yesterday, there is a lot of push and pull. People thinking this is really a good thing for consumers, and investors going, just let the market play out. And I think what we're seeing is there's going to be enough demand that even if there are some foreclosures coming, they're going to sell as fast as they hit the market. So that's going to be a lively conversation. And I have booked another call with Sam DeGreen on Tuesday of next week. And Sam is with the DeGreen Financial Group, and we're going to talk about the big picture, what we see going on. I want to know what they're seeing as far as these tax proposals from the new administration, which they don't look like they're going to fly. Look like they're going to be dead on arrival. But what are they seeing on the big picture that could affect real estate? And that's if they're seeing anything at all. So it's going to be a good talk. I enjoy talking to the guy. He's a fun guy. And that'll be Tuesday. But come back in tomorrow, 3 o'clock, and let's see what's going on the lending side. Take care, everybody.